Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be having an important conversation about how Gen 9 is going to affect the future Pokemon market. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, getting it out of the way, we are doing weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed to the YouTube channel and then leave a like and comment down below on any of the 3 videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, we have 3 winners each and every week, and each winner will be getting 8 Brilliant Star booster packs. And since you have multiple opportunities to enter by leaving a like and commenting on the videos we post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that allows for multiple entries and multiple opportunities to win as well. So your odds are pretty high. But now that we got that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. So I'm briefly going to go over the announcement that kind of came with Gen 9 and really go in depth past this on what the more, in my personal opinion, relevant news is in regards to how this is going to affect the market. Those people don't know, Pokemon Day was just the other day. I think it was February the 27th, if I'm correct, when this officially came announced. Yep. And basically, the new Pokemon game is going to be coming out later this year, November 2022, which is absolutely insane. The fact of the matter that they are getting, right to it. And I know a lot of people, of course, were saying that, maybe this is a little too fast. The game's going to come out sloppy. But the Pokemon devs, it sounds like they have 2 separate teams, so they have rotating teams that work on each and every different project. So I don't think, as far as we know, it stands right now, that the game's just immediately going to be ruled out as terrible. But outside of the game itself, we know that there's going to be a new era in regards to Pokemon. So what do I mean by a new era? Well, we are in the current Sword and Shield era. We just, rotated out of the last competitive cycle of the Sun and Moon era. And then, of course, prior to that, XY era. Well, now we are in the Scarlet and Violet era, starting more than likely either end of this year or early next year. So, why is this super important? Why is this super significant? So obviously it was pretty much of an easy tell to say that this set was more than likely going to get rotated out, or sorry, not this set. Sword and Shield era was more than likely going to get rotated out by the end of this year, but we didn't know if they were going to stop making Sword and Shield sets by the end of the year or early into next year. But now we have that confirmation more than likely because of the new games. And when the new games come out, they like to kind of mimic a lot of, the sets around it. Kind of like, I want to say about 6 or 7 months ago, one of the biggest things I said is, even if Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is a bust, I said at least we're going to be getting card sets that were going to be centered around it. And I was saying at the time that I thought that they could perform really well, especially from a nostalgic perspective. Of course, first one of that we've had is Brilliant Star, and it's performed amazing. So with that, now comes the important question of, where does this put the Sword and Shield era in regards to the investment aspect? So I've talked about this a couple of times on some of my other videos. You can always go back and take a look when I kind of discuss the competitive format and why it's super crucial in regards to understanding patterns of how the Pokemon company likes to reprint things. So as you can see right here, we're going to go on to the Pokemon.us page. And there is the standard format, which has a rotation that happens every single year. Typically, Worlds comes in around August. And then after that, about sometime in September, usually, of course, it could be October, it could be, late August, but usually September, you have the card set for the standard format rotate out. And then the next, kind of standard format will just continue on as more sets come out. So how to know what cards are a part of the standard format, you can tell by the typical symbols on the bottom left of the card next to the set, as well as the number marker for whatever it is. Take a look at this Zacian, for example. As you can see, there is a D right here. This D tells us that it is part of the D rotation format for standard. So what significance and importance does this really have for us? So we know that at the end of this year, or going into September, we are going to be having the D cards being rotated out for competitive formats, and then with that, the E cards the following year. So for those people that don't know right now, the last set that has been released that is part of the D format is Shining Fates. So of course, as you can see right here, there are some cards that are E-marker cards, but these are more just reprinted cards that they added into the set. So it could be, more affordable for people to buy them, whether it be because some of them had competitive viability or just so on and so forth because they took cards from other sets and they just did a little bit of a reprint. It wouldn't make sense to ban the same card but one from a set versus not a set. But if you do go over to the Shiny Star V and just the general Shiny Vault, they are all D cards. So that shows us that the last rotational set, if we take a look, for example, Battle Styles, click on Battle Styles. Battle Styles is an E set. So that means this is going to be the newest set that is going to still be in the competitive format until the year 2023. Near the back end of it. Now, what that really shows us is that in the next couple of, I want to say 4 to 5 months here, once competitive really comes into play, that's where the question is going to really come with, are the reprints over? Is it safe to start investing or not? Now, obviously, I talked about it earlier in my channel. Coming in May, we're going to be having reprints for Vivid Voltage Elite Trainer boxes, so that's huge. Obviously, I also talked about we had a small supply of elite booster boxes for the set Rebel Clash. As you can see, it doesn't look like it was of any major significance in regards to the value of the price. We can keep updated in that. So I would say that, real reprints for Rebel hasn't really been seen. We obviously saw a reprint with, of course, Vivid Voltage booster boxes, Darkness Ablaze booster boxes. We saw Elite Trainer boxes, reprints happening for the Sword and Shield base set. So it is a still possibility. Of course, it could be, a little bit later. It might be last second, but it is still possible leading up until June or, July, a month or two before the set comes out, that we could still see booster box reprints at that point for those sets. However, it is, in my personal opinion, that as far as it goes with Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze, more than likely, especially considering Vivid is going to be getting an Elite Trainer box reprint within, May. And that specifically, if we're talking Vivid, this is going to be your kind of opportunity to hop in, I guess. I'm not financial advisor, not financial advice, but with it going out of the rotation, I believe that we haven't really seen much history of Pokemon doing reprints for sets that were outside of the competitive format. I mean, even take a set such as, Hidden Fates, for example. When Hidden Fates got a reprint in 2021, the start of last year, people were absolutely stunned when they did that with the Elite Trainer boxes. The reason why I didn't think that was that surprising, to be quite honest with you, is because it was still part of the competitively viable format at that time. When it comes to the reprints, historically, and we're talking reprints, we're not talking old supply that was found by distributors, old supply that the Pokemon Company found that they sold to distributors and so on and so forth. We are talking about straight up reprints. Historically, the Pokemon Company hasn't, and you can fact check me on this if you liked, but historically speaking, the Pokemon Company has not done reprints for sets that are not in the current standard format. I can't look of a single time when this has happened. That's one of the biggest reasons why I talk about it a lot on my channel when people ask me all the time, is Cosmic Eclipse reprints going to happen for booster boxes or Elite Trainer boxes? I don't think so. Now, of course, a lot of people could point and say to themselves, Eli, well, what about when the Sun and Moon Elite Trainer boxes, quote unquote, got reprint? Well, as far as we know, the reason why that happened was because they had a bunch of loose packs still available that they repackaged into some old Elite Trainer box items. And so it came off as if it was an actual reprint fresh off the printers. But in reality, it was just older packs that they just put in Elite Trainer boxes, repackaged. Of course, that still affects the market at the end of the day. But general, just full-on reprints. They're printing new product, 2022, green and white, new style code cards and everything. Don't think it's going to happen for sets leading up to Shining Fates. And not to mention, we literally just had a Shining Fates reprint like 2 weeks ago. So literally the Pokemon Company textbook has been doing the reprints leading up to competitively viable format of standard for this August. The only set we haven't really seen that with is Rebel Clash. We obviously, like I said, once again, Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes just got reprinted. Vivid Voltage Elite Trainer box is being reprinted. Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage Elite or booster boxes also got reprinted, and then we had a reprint of Sword and Shield Elite trainer boxes as well. So, you know, it's really just Rebel Clash, which is quite surprising, to be honest with you. I mean, if we want to take a look at the set itself, Rebel Clash, you know, maybe it's not, maybe I'm overlooking it. What if we take a set like Rebel Clash, for example, and you just look at some of the high to low common, uncommon cards that are part of the competitively viable set? You do have a couple of trainers. Capture Energy is a super popular card. I mean, there's a reason why it's super expensive. Galar Mines is a super expensive, popular card. Scoop Up Net's also a very popular card. So you have some cards that are competitively viable. Of course, you do have, you know, trainer toolkits and other sets that have done reprints of them. So maybe in their mind, they're like, hey, this set is more important just from a competitive viability perspective. We'd much rather do reprints of those specific cards in other specialty sets, you know, or just generally just doing, I mean, like we have multiple bosses orders, for example. You know, Brilliant Star has, I mean, let's just take a look. We can just show you guys. When you go bosses order, boss order, I don't know if it's gonna pick up that, but yeah, so we do bosses order. We got one from Brilliant Star, we got one from Rebel Clash, we got one from a deck exclusive, and we also got one from Shining Fates. And by deck exclusive, I'm assuming it's referencing the trainer toolkits, but I could be off with that. But either way, as you can see, we've had multiple different prints of the boss's orders. And so, of course, the cards have, you know, fallen off. I mean, I remember this card was going for literally $2 to $3 at the time, but you can really see why that is, just because the fact is they are in so much more prints and there's so many different variations at this point of them because of the sets that they've started to show up in. So, you know, that's an argument I guess you could make on them not doing a reprint of it. So, of course, nothing is 100% when it comes to what the Pokemon company is doing, because they're not super, you know, transparent outside of the fact of the matter for, you know, Pokemon US, that they're willing to print anything and everything, specifically when leading up to competitive rotational sets in the standard format. But if you want to take a look and say to yourself, all right, Eli, what are some opportunities when it comes to sets to potentially invest in, for example? Because when we take a look at the booster box prices, let's go from low to high. We can see as it stands right now that Darkness Ablaze booster boxes and Vivid Voltage booster boxes, you know, relatively speaking, are in a pretty good price point. You know, obviously we can take a look and go with eBay and see if Voltage booster boxes are going to be any cheaper. I doubt it. Could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong, because I always want you guys to find other opportunities. Here we go. One for $116. That's not bad at all by any means. You know, you can find one for $116 on eBay as it stands right now. So that's $16, $100 or above $100, and I really like that price point. This one's sold for $110. That's a pretty good price point. This one sold for $119 plus $5 shipping, basically $125. But I mean, you know, I don't think Vivid Voltage at this price of, you know, $116, $120 is a bad pickup by any means, especially when the set rotation is going to be going out of print. However, I've talked about this many, many times before. When we have a discussion about what has historically performed the best from a percentage perspective when investing, you can go back and look at my other videos. I've done in-depth breakdowns of this, but I'm a bigger fan of Elite Trainer boxes because of how much better they've performed. And typically speaking, you haven't historically seen a large amount of, you know, late waves of older Elite Trainer boxes being printed. And if they do, they affect the market, don't get me wrong, but you don't see that kind of drastic swing of the booster boxes themselves going down a massive amount below, you know, MSRP prices, wholesale distributor level prices. I mean, obviously we can take a look and see right now, the Sword and Shield Elite Trainer Box Zacian, it went all the way up to $83, which is insane for a modern, ultra modern set. And then it went down to as low as $42. And you might say to yourself, dang, that's a 50% retrace, Eli. That's still a big retrace. But also at the same exact time, you know, 50% retrace and I mean, it says as low as $50. People are buying it for around $46. That's still above MSRP prices after the retrace. So that just goes to show you how well it's performed. You can, of course, look at the Sword and Shield other variation, and you can see, once again, this one's also going for around $50. It looks very deceiving because it says that $35 price point, but you have that $15 shipping. So they do that on purpose to kind of trick you. Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes as well. And of course, we can't really compare booster boxes, but we just had a recent dip with that because of the reprints. So that is a really good opportunity. And this is, I don't think this is a bold statement to say, but I think Shining Fates, if you're trying to pick it up, I think now is the best time to pick it up. If you can get it for anything below $60, I think you're going to have one of the best investments from a long-term to medium-term perspective, because I think this set is highly underrated and it could potentially be the next Shining Fates. Shining Legend set, if I'm correct. I want to make sure that I'm quoting the right set here that I'm thinking of. Yes, I think this could be the next Shining Legend set. This set, for the longest time, I kid you not, I was going into Walmarts as late 2020 and finding Shining Legends Pin Collection Pikachu 2-pack bundles, selling me 2 of these for $20 each. Or sorry, $20 together, which is an insane deal. They usually go for $15 each. Selling them for $5 off for 2 of them is an absolute steal. Literally no more than a year and a half, 2 years later, look at the overall gain that we've seen. Now, of course, a lot of this growth was really attributed to the Pokemon bull market that we had during the COVID pandemic. But that doesn't change the fact of the matter that it did affect the market once people started to realize, hey, this set isn't as bad as a lot of people said it was, or it wasn't, as underwhelming as a lot of people gave it credit to. It's got the shiny Mew, it's got the Rainbow Mewtwo GX, it has the test tube, it's got some really cool shining cards in my opinion. Love the Rayquaza, love the Arceus, so on and so forth. So it's a really cool collector set. So basically, and I'm not saying it's going to do this exactly, but I am comparing it to a specialty set like this. You could potentially see it perform very, very strong. I mean, look, let's just take a look at the Elite Trainer box value. Let's just look at the 1 year. It's not going to show up, of course. Classic. I knew it wasn't going to show up. But let's see if we can go see the history of it. Under Pokemon market cap, we'll go to this website, go to the analytics. Let's see if we can. No, they don't have the history of the Elite Trainer box. Dang, that's a bummer. So I wish I could show you that, but we don't really have any price data on the Shining Elite Trainer box. All you can really see is the price correction that it's had in the past year. So, but I mean, you guys can just take my word for it, or you can disagree with me. But I don't think it's I don't think it's that bold of a statement to say, back in the day, prices for the packs themselves were selling for around the time, anywhere between $5 to $7. And I remember once it hit $15, people thought that was insane, and now they're going for as low as $30. So that if that doesn't, go to show you within the 2-year span how that could really change things, same thing could happen with Shining Fates. In the next year to 5 years, depending upon when our next real bull market cycle. Of course, there's other macro economic things that will play factors, but I digress. So Shining Fates, probably one of my top picks. Vivid Voltage Elite Trainer boxes, they've seen I think honestly the reason why they've seen such a large drop off is because there's been a lot of fear of the reprints, and so people are panic selling this, and this is literally just panic selling prices without the actual reprint happening. So people are just getting ahead of the curve right now because it went from $100 to $78. It's about a 22% drop. And once that reprint happens, expect this set to go back down to more than likely $40 or even less if we're lucky. So I've said this before on my channel, if you can get it for around 50, 40, 45, I think you're sitting on an absolute steal of a price for a set that, as we saw, went up to as high as $100 in a year and a half. And this has been a very strong performing set. And the booster box sales, even though we are in a downturn, when we were in a bull market cycle, the set in and of itself saw highs. Obviously it's represented right here as 170, but going back to the original print, and I know I can't actually see this history Here we can see it at pokedata.io. If we go to pokedata.io, we go to sealed product, and then we go to Vivid Voltage booster box. We can see that back when the set first really started to come out, it was going for, you know, at its peak around $221. Reprint happened, went down, then started to come back up again. Reprint happened. So, I mean, this set, even though it's making lower lows and lower highs in terms of an actual macroeconomic perspective of trends, this set still long term, when we do see a bull market, will be one of, in my personal opinion, of course, the strong performers because of just how it's performed historically when looking at the demand for this specific set. It's got some, you know, really cool, amazing rare cards that were introduced in Vivid Voltage. For those people that don't know, I know you can skip this part if you know things about Vivid Voltage, but I know for a lot of people, had the Pikachu VMAX card, which is cool. Couple of cool rainbow trainers. Obviously, you know, the Nessa and the Leon were somewhat popular ones, specifically the Nessa. People like to call it the waifu, of course. But then going into the amazing rares, which used to be some of the highest valued cards until there's massive reprints. But you've got something like the Jirachi amazing rare, beautiful card, Raikou, Zacian. Of course, you've got the Charizard reverse holo, Zamazente amazing rare, Celebi amazing rare. And then I think we should see a Rayquaza amazing rare. I might have passed it. Yep, here it is, going for around $5. So you do have these amazing rare cards that are in this set. That this was the set that introduced it. So I think it's a very, very, very popular, you know, set in regards to just the general collectability aspect of it. So then we can go back and take a look some more into other sets that are going to be in this rotational format. Going back to it. For those people that want to know, okay, what sets are, like I said, leading up to it, but I will just say them specifically out loud. It is going to be the sets, sorry, I lost my words for a second. Sword and Shield base set, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, and then Hidden Fates. Those are going to be the sets that are going to be out of the competitively viable format. So those are going to be the main 6 sets that we're going to be taking a look at. That's 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, am I missing Champion's Path too? Oh my goodness gracious. Champion's Path. Ha! Champion's Path, guys. So sorry about that. So I was like, where's the 6th one? Yes, Champion's Path. Champion's Path is going to be the other one. Can't miss that one. So with that on Champion's Path, I know a lot of people were really hoping there would be a potential reprint. If we don't see a reprint or any sort of reprint news for Champion's Path in the next 3 or 4 months, and when I say reprint, I mean real reprint, not just like the old product that my distributor found of, you know, some of the Haterna V boxes that, you know, of course, will affect the market slightly, if, you know, not any, depending upon how much product they got. But the Elite Trainer boxes, you know, that could, of course, see a major opportunity. But we've heard zero news in regards to looking at Champion's Path being reprinted. So if you are someone that's interested in collecting booster boxes, or sorry, Elite Trainer boxes, I would say that once again, once it fully goes out of rotation, personally speaking, that's when I think your safest pick for picking up the booster box. That's you know, personally speaking, when I would pick it up if you don't currently have the booster box itself. Sorry for scrolling forever to go and find the Champion's Path one. So obviously it's going for around $103. It's kind of flatlined for a couple of months now. This is the general price it's selling for, $103 plus shipping, so $110. But yeah, I would just be patient. If we don't see a reprint in the next 5 months, I think it's very unlikely because it's not technically a competitively viable set, but neither is Shining Fates. So, you know, I can never say never, but I would definitely wait before pulling the trigger on buying one of these after August. And, you know, that's just my opinion on that. So, but as for Darkness Ablaze Elite Trainer boxes, same exact argument. So, because right now what we're really trying to dissect is just the opportunities in the market. We're trying to look at ones that I think could be really good long-term value holds. Champion's Path, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think these are Elite Trainer boxes that are perform well. I mean, heck, $130 for a set that's, been out for, two, and is still part of the Ultra Modern set. Like, that's insane value. And that just once again goes to show you why Elite Trainer boxes historically have performed better than booster boxes on average. Of course, that's not going to say every single one is, but like I said, on average. So when looking at opportunities, I would stay away from these unless you're trying to collect them, because I just think the value you're going to be getting out of them, you're going to be able to find it elsewhere when looking at things like I mentioned out before, Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes and Vivid Voltage Elite Trainer boxes. So, of course, you could also make an argument. I mean, Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes for Zacian and Zamazenta. I mean, we saw them go all the way up to $80-$90 before they got their reprint. So you could always pick these up from a investment perspective. But personally, if I'm going to have to bet on it, I'm going to put my money on the Shining Fates and Vivid Voltage over time, outperforming it from a percentage perspective. So wrapping up the video, because I know this has been a lot of information, I'm actually going to do two wrap-ups for this. One is going to be the main wrap-up of just the topic of the video, and then two, just kind of my personal top picks going into the end of 2022's rotational format, or I should say even within the next 5 to 6 months, what I think will be the best pickups for a long-term investment. So wrapping up the main points that were why this is so significant for Gen 9 just comes down to the fact that we're going to have a lot of Sword and Shield era sets rotating out coming into August, September time. And with knowing now that, the Violet and Scarlet are going to be coming as early as this year, we are going to expect there's not going to be that many more Sword and Shield sets coming out afterwards. And so we can start having a conversation sooner than later on the sets from the rotation D compared to E, which ones are going to be really good investments when we get into the next year. But right now, focusing on this year, which investments I think from the rotational format, which once again, for those people that don't know, the ones that are going to be rotating out: Sword and Shield base set, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, Champion's Path, and Shining Fates. Of those ones, my personal picks for the best, value that I think will perform well, especially for the price you're buying them at for: Vivid Voltage booster boxes, Vivid Voltage Elite Trainer boxes, specifically when we get the reprint in May, Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes, specifically as well after we just got a reprint for them, Darkness Ablaze booster boxes, and I'll put in kind of not top 4, top 5 pick, but basically honorable mention. If you really want to, you can go with the Zacian Zamazenta booster box standard ones. But to finish off the 5, I would say that the Zacian Zamazenta specialty boxes, you can make an argument for those. But I don't know if I really wanted to put them up there in the top 5, because as far as we know, they could still be a part of the rotational format, because as far as I'm aware, they are, they do include some booster packs from the E format, such as Battle Styles. These ones are the ones I'm specifically talking about. Of course, they say they're part of the Vivid Voltage era, so could be 100% wrong with that, and they could be amazing pickups. But I don't know definitively, so I want to kind of just say the top 4 that I just mentioned. But as far as it goes, a little bit longer of a video. Obviously, I'll do my timestamps like I usually do, so people can just jump ahead to the parts they want to listen to. But that is all I have for today's video. As always, make sure if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, all you have to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel, leave a like, and comment down below. Of course, we have 3 winners that will be winning each and every week some Brilliant Star booster packs, and you have multiple opportunities to enter since we post videos each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you comment and like each of those videos, that allows you for up to 3 entries. So pretty high odds to win. But that is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys on Friday. Peace.